Okay, this is an interview for puertoreggae.com. I'm with Elliot Martin of John Brown's Body. They just played last night at the Ramas Festival. I think it was your first time here in Puerto Rico? All right, tell me a little bit about your background in music. How did you discover music, and how and why did you choose reggae?
Well, the people that started the band, I mean, I grew up with some friends in high school, junior high school. The original singer for John Brown's Body, his name is Kevin Kinsella, who did the first 4 records. He was the lead singer. He introduced me to reggae. He introduced me to singing. I mean, he made me sing. You know, he introduced me to like harmony, and so credit to him for starting me on this path. And, you know, back in like the '80s, I was into a lot of new wave stuff and, you know, pop stuff, and then I got into reggae, you know, later.
So you were doing other stuff on the band, and then he got you into that
music. I was just a casual singer, you know. I was but I started like back in those days. The band before John Brown's Body was called the Tribulations, and that I was not in the band initially. And I would travel around with them and video. You know, I would film the shows, and, you know, of course I like the lifestyle, and I like the music, and eventually I became part of it. You know, so.
All right, and I think you guys are like pioneers of the U.S. Reggae scene.
We're not pioneers at all. We're part of a lineage of American reggae. You know, there was a lot of, you know, we used to be obsessed with watching old roots videos from Jamaica. You know, reggae Sunsplash shows, and there's one year, maybe 1979 or 80 or 81, where the Blue Rhythm Band played, and that's a white band that was from Ohio, I believe. That was, I mean, or maybe it was multicultural, but it was, you know, it was the first American reggae band that played at Sunsplash in Jamaica, and they were great. You know, they fit right in. They had a really deep sound. Yeah, exactly.
Our nation.
And they were, you know, we're from Ithaca, New York, so there was a band called the Majestics back in Rochester that like Lee Perry would work with back in the '80s, and we got introduced to the local venue in town. It was called The Haunt in Ithaca, New York, and it was run by a man called John Peterson, and he knew all about the culture, and he went to Jamaica a lot and brought back this music, and he brought that to the town, and our town, Ithaca, New York, is reggae crazy. You know, since then we've all, you know, it's a credit to John Peterson for helping us. So we're one of the earlier American reggae bands, but certainly not, you know, not the only ones. Of course, you know, there are many. You know, there were a lot of. I remember there being a lot of bands from Washington D.C. and Ohio also, like back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Now you hear a lot about the California reggae scene.
California,
but I remember more when I discovered. Maybe we're closer, but I remember hearing from your area and Washington and stuff like that before hearing from the California movement.
Oh yeah, and that's the difference. We started. Maybe the first time we went to California was maybe 1999, somewhere around there. And there were very few bands, and so that scene was very young. You know, they didn't have like a big scene. So initially, we were received very well there. You know, and that was one of the places that we got a foothold. You know, and since then, you know, it's grown. You know, I think that we were part of some people's introduction to reggae, just like, you know, people out there maybe listen to East Coast reggae, but they also were influenced by Sublime, and so it's grown from there. So.
And John Brown's Body, you guys been keeping busy? You've been traveling?
As much as we can. You know, it's expensive to travel around with 10 people, but yeah, we were just out in west, like Colorado and Utah and Wyoming and Pacific Northwest and Oregon and Washington.
Traveled out of the U.S. much?
Yeah, that's normal. We don't get out of we don't do a lot of international.
Where haven't you been that you want to go?
Well, I mean, reggae scene is huge, and I mean, I'd like to be here more often. I'd like to be in Costa Rica and South America. I mean, reggae is huge. And more. I mean, we were in Europe once for a very small tour. It'd be nice to go back, and especially, you know, England and Germany and the Netherlands. It's gigantic, you know. So we've just never been able to get a foothold there. You know?
This one's called Old John Brown, dedicated to the man John Brown. Check the history books, y'all.
Now, last night before Old John Brown, you said know your history. Wanna say?
Well, it's American history.
Yeah, I know, but it's the history of the name.
Yes.
That you chose. Tell a little bit of, not to be too expensive, but a little bit about the name. How you guys, what the meaning of it?
Well, there's a song. John Brown was a man back in he was 1860s. Yes, 1860s. He was radical. You know, he led revolts against slave owners and killed people. You know, to free people. So it's, you know, he's, you know, you could look at it, and just like today, you could look at him as a terrorist, or you can look at. But anyhow, back then, he was a rallying cry for people who were for the resistance back then, and and so back in the Civil War, they had eventually the song became known as the Battle Hymn of the Republic, but it used to be John Brown. It used to be called John Brown's Body. So, you know, John Brown's body lies moldering in the grave, but his soul keeps marching on. So that's a pretty inspirational sentiment. And there's also like a epic poem. It's a long book that's called John Brown's Body. So I think I didn't name the band. I didn't name the band initially. It's a confusing name for sure, but you know, it has ties in a lot of the history.
I know, yeah. It's an important name. It's a relevant name, and it has a big meaning. But like I say, it's a confusing name. So it's
some
good
people think that it's like Sheriff John Brown from I Shot the Sheriff, you know.
Yeah,
or sometimes people think that I'm John Brown, but no.
Okay. Well, what's next for John Brown's Body?
Let's just keep on playing. I mean, we go home from here next week. We're playing in New York, and it's just keep on trying to, you know, I feel like we're always kind of hungry to, like I say, to get a foothold and a little bit more. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and it's always been elusive for us. Like so we just keep on pushing and trying to get. I feel like there's maybe a new sort of appreciation for us. You know, it's hard because we've been around for so long. People. We're not the new thing anymore, you know. But we're still vibrant, you know. We're still trying to push some new music forward. So,
but I hope that people see this interview and some video I took of you last night, so you come back and more people get exposed to your music, because it was a really great show.
Thank you.
The music's good, the production was good. Kudos to them. But you guys put on a good show, great music, great message. Last words for the people of Puerto Rico.
Well, it's a beautiful country, and hopefully we get a chance to come back and see people in a bigger setting sometime soon.
All right. Well, at least you got to see. You get to spend a few days here, because most of the people I interview come the night before and leave the day after.
Right.
But you guys are lucky in that.
I know. We just decided to have a vacation.
All right, Elliot. Thanks a lot for the time, man, and thanks a lot for the music and the show. And good luck to you. Best, and keep on, man.
Thank you.
All right.